On the day of the wedding, Yu Yan's little bamboo horse stood by the bridge with the intention of committing suicide. Yu Yan hung up the phone and was about to leave. I grabbed her sleeve tightly. Yu Yan, if you walk out of this door, we will break up. Tang Ze, people's lives are at risk. I will marry you. Don't make trouble. She turned around and rushed out. I turned around and pulled another woman to finish the wedding. Later, she asked me why I didn't wait for her. I sneered, the late affection is more cheap than grass. 1. On the wedding day, Yu Yan looked a little uneasy. I know that she was for Su Jibai. The Su family and the Yu family are friends. Su Jibai and Yu Yan have been childhood sweethearts. When I knew him, it was Yu Yan who had just confirmed his relationship with me and posted an official announcement on WeChat Moments. As a result, he saw him crying and quarreling with Yu Yan and hit the wall head-on. Yu Yan was so scared that he had no choice but to delete the moments. Since then, we have not mentioned our relationship, and even my friends have not dared to mention my name in front of Su Jibai. Only then did I know that this bamboo horse was not simple. He was in poor health for a long time with great mental pressure, depression, and committed suicide at any time. Now that he has never appeared, I know something is going on. Sure enough, just as I put on makeup and the master of ceremonies reminded us that we were about to enter, Yu Yan's phone rang, but the other end of the phone was not Su Jibai, but the police. Yu Yan's face suddenly sank. He put away his mobile phone and turned to me. Jibai is standing at the bridge to commit suicide. I have to go there. I was shocked and immediately thought, don't go. It's not the first time for him. You forget that every time we are together, he will have some small emotions. She frowned for a moment. Tang Ze, human life is at risk. Can you stop making trouble? After saying that, he wanted to break away from me and I stood up. Yu Yan, if you walk out of this door today, we will break up. I can no longer stand that man in the middle of us and wantonly destroy our relationship. I can't allow Yu Yan to choose to run to him every time and leave me alone. Yu Yan looked at me with scarlet eyes, and her mobile phone rang again. After connecting, Su Jibai's cry came. Yu Yan, are you really going to marry that man? The river here must be very cold. Wait for me to come right away. She hung up the phone and shook me off. Tang Ze, I will make up for you. I'm sorry. She rushed out and I didn't stop her anymore. I knew that this woman was going to be amazing. The makeup artist beside me looked at me dumbfounded. I smiled and turned to find the Yu family. I, Tang Ze, am not a person who suffers losses. The banquet hall was bustling. Before the protagonist arrived, everyone greeted as usual. I looked around for a week, focused on the crowd and dialed her number. Yu Yan ran away from marriage. Yu family, find a bride for me. I looked at the opposite side, and the woman was cold and noble, strolling towards me. Mr. Tang. Mr. Yu Yan went to see Su Jibai. I don't want this kind of two-faced woman. Your Yu family will compensate me for a bride again. Today this matter will be exposed. Yu Shengnan paused for a moment, took out his mobile phone and looked at it. He confirmed that what I said was true and then said, do you have a suitable partner? I think of Yu Yan. Among the women of the Yu family, Yu Yan is the best. No matter who I choose, I can't suppress her. However, the one in front of you is not bad. Mr. Yu, I'll just look at you. Yu Shengnan's face was expressionless, and my heart was also pounding. The next second he blurted out, the Yu family owes me the fault of not being a godfather. I can't have her father, and there are no girls of suitable age in the rest of the Yu family. You are her sister-in-law, and you are the most suitable. Let me be her little sister-in-law. I feel comfortable, and naturally I won't talk nonsense. Yu Shengnan, let's make an appointment for 3 chapters. I will protect the face of the Yu family, and you will protect my reputation. How about it? In a year we can get a divorce. This is the best way I can think of. 2. Seeing that the time was getting tighter and tighter, Yu Shengnan still didn't make a sound until the master of ceremonies came to urge, it's almost time, bride. I didn't speak but just looked at her. Only then did Yu Shengnan say, okay. Her voice made me feel like I had been pardoned. I quickly pulled her and looked up and down. Very good, good bottom, well dressed, no need to dress up, that's it. I reached out and took her and said to the master of ceremonies, don't be stunned. Start straight. The bride and groom enter at the same time. Everything is simple and fast. Her name is Yu Shengnan, remember? The master of ceremonies looked at me and Yu Shengnan in astonishment, and then nodded. I was also dizzy until the ceremony was over. The Yu family's faces were different, and I didn't understand why they suddenly changed people. I looked at my parents under the stage and they were also confused. However, the bride changed, and they didn't seem to object. After sending off the guests, Yu Yan's mother looked a little ugly. Tang Ze, you are really reckless about this matter. If it is spread out. It was also spread out by me for the sake of the Yu family's face. Sister-in-law, if you see Yu Yan in the future, please tell her that the overall situation is important. After saying that, I took Yu Shengnan and left directly. Joke, when I was with Yu Yan before, her mother didn't like me. I think I'm Gao Pan. My family is indeed not as good as her, but I, Tang Ze, also graduated from a key university, and now I also have my own career. The Yu family embarrassed me, so don't blame me for being rude. After coming out, Yu Shengnan's mouth was obviously bent. I'm usually quite obedient when I see you. I didn't expect you to be a sharp-toothed wolf dog. Of course, I'm usually a junior. Of course, I have to be good to the elders. Now that we are husband and wife, I am the same age as her, so naturally I don't have to be polite to her. My identity changed very naturally. Originally, I was respectful when I saw Yu Yan's mother, but now I don't need it. I don't care if she calls me sister-in-law. It's for Yu Shengnan's sake. Otherwise, I won't say a word more. At this time, Yu Shengnan smiled and said nothing. He just looked at me. I blushed a little and turned around awkwardly. My parents happened to look over and walk straight towards me. Tang Ze, what's going on? I shrugged my shoulders. Yu Yan went to find Su Jibai, and the Yu family compensated me for a bride. My mother was stunned and was about to get angry when Yu Shengnan took my hand. It's Yu Yan who is ignorant. Tang Ze is very good. It's my honor to marry him. Hearing the words, I couldn't help but look sideways. Yu Shengnan looked serious. He looked at each other and I blushed a little. My mother choked and my father said in a low voice, in that case, you should be good and live a stable life. When I was with Yu Yan, they didn't agree. They felt that Yu Yan was not dedicated and ran to find the little bamboo horse as soon as he had something to do. But now that I was with Yu Shengnan, they didn't say much. They just nodded and turned away, sending off the guests, leaving only me and Yu Shengnan. I took the lead in saying, well, I'll go back. I'm going to the company. I still have something to deal with. The driver will take you home. She paused for a moment. My home is also your home. I was slightly stunned before I realized that she was asking me to live with her. The wedding room between me and Yu Yan has been ready for a long time, but now, Yu Shengnan seemed to notice my doubts. I'll take care of the rest. 3. Since it was Yu Yan's woman who did something wrong, let Yu Yan's generation come. Hearing this, I nodded and didn't care about it. The driver sent me to Yu Shengnan's residence. After entering the door, I took a look. It was very clean, and the decoration also won my heart. It's just that there is less atmosphere of life. It seems that the transformation will be indispensable in the future. The housekeeper respectfully led me to the second floor. Sir, the room is ready. If you need anything, just tell me. I nodded and finally stopped lying in bed after taking a shower. He took out his mobile phone and took a look. There was no phone call on it. It seemed that Su Jibai still couldn't stop. I hope that after Yu Yan knows that I have become her little uncle, she can still be as calm as today. At this time, Su Jibai sent a message. I'm sorry, Tang Ze, I suddenly felt a little sick today, so I asked Sister Yan to come and see me. I didn't expect to ruin your wedding. I will definitely give you a big gift when we get married next time. Seeing his malicious T-words, I couldn't help laughing and replied directly, you called the wrong one. I'm the only child in the family. Also, if you are not in good health, see a doctor. The Yu family will not allow a man with abnormal brains to enter the door. Then I deleted him. Su Jibai jumped up and down in front of me. It's really sick. When I got up early the next morning, I was 100 times more energetic. As soon as I changed my clothes and went downstairs, I saw Yu Shengnan sitting at the dining table. Seeing me coming down, she said lightly, are you awake? Come and have a meal. I quickly went over and sat beside her. It was too late last night. I'll give you the 3rd chapter of the appointment today. Don't worry. I'll take you to meet the relatives of the Yu family today. Relatives of the Yu family? Well, on the side of the old house, the incident happened suddenly yesterday. Let's get to know each other today, and get some red envelopes by the way. Yu Shengnan's words made me understand in a second. She is the old man's daughter. She, the young man, has to pay for any happy events at home. But she is 30 years old and hasn't married yet. This time, she can't miss one of the temporary replacements. He is worthy of being a businessman. He is so shrewd. I understand. After eating and drinking enough to clean up, Yu Shengnan drove me to the Yu family's old house. Entering the door, the old man directly called her to the study. The old lady looked at me and patted the back of my hand. Don't worry. Shengnan is a good boy. Since she is willing to be with you, it means that she is sincere. Hearing the words, I couldn't help but be stunned. I only knew that Yu Shengnan was not the old lady's biological child, but now looking at her appearance, she seemed to be very satisfied with the marriage. At this time, she looked at me and said with a smile, people open their eyes and close their eyes. This life is over. The Yu family now relies on her. After I die, I don't expect Lao Heir's family to do anything. I just hope they are safe. When you were with Yu Yan before I didn't care, but now that you have married Shangnan, do you want to be clear? I see. I don't want to be incest either. Besides, it's Yu Yan's fault. It has nothing to do with me. The old lady looked at me and squinted her eyes. She said with a smile, "Okay, we're done talking. It's time to go to the front and have a look." She couldn't help but take my hand and walk to the hall. And then I found that Yu Yan had also arrived. Seeing me, Yu Yan frowned. She didn't seem to know that I was married to Yu Shengnan. She was impatient as soon as she met her. "What do you mean, Tang Ze, you blocked me? It's not just a wedding. I'll make it up to you next time. Also, what you said last night made you cry all night. Apologize to me. Dog, do you still want me to apologize?" "No, so." I put my hands around her and took a step back to point at her. "Yu Yan, you don't kneel down and admit your mistake when you see your little uncle." 4. Yu Yan looked surprised. "Tang Ze, why are you nervous? Follow me right away. Aren't you here today to apologize?" She reached out and grabbed my wrist. "Now Sujibai is outside. Come with me." Just as I was about to struggle, I inserted a hand in the air and squeezed her wrist tightly. "Let go." Yu Yan turned around and saw Yu Shengnan. He was stunned. "Little sister-in-law?" I said, "Let go." As soon as she exerted force, Yu Yan suddenly grinned in pain and let go of her hand directly, while I took the opportunity to stand next to Yu Shangnan and curled his lips. "Honey," she scolded me and pinched me, "look." I used a little force and there was a red mark on her wrist, so her face suddenly became gloomy. Yu Yan was dumbfounded. "What do you call her?" "Honey. I've already told you that I'm your little uncle now, and you won't kneel down and apologize to me." Yu Yan looked at me incredulously. "What nonsense are you talking about?" She looked at me and then at Yu Shangnan. "How is it possible? You. I rolled my eyes and said, "How can it be impossible? If you insist on going to Sujibai, can't I change you? I won't wait for you for the face of the Yu family." Yu Shengnan also nodded. "What I'm saying is, Yu Yan, go and get the punishment. What happened yesterday, if it hadn't been for Tang Ze, our Yu family would have become a laughing stock. Now you can immediately go to kneel in the ancestral hall." Yu Yan was stunned for a moment, and then jumped like thunder. "Impossible. Tang Ze, come with me. Who asked you to call your little sister-in-law's name taboo? Come on, drag her out." Yu Shengnan was angry, and then the bodyguard came in, covered Yu Yan's mouth and dragged her into the ancestral hall. I don't know how Yu Yan's parents went there later. I only know that during lunch, Yu Yan came to the seat dejectedly. The old man saw her and snorted coldly. "I've told you long ago that you should know the big picture and know how to take care of the whole situation. You know your mistake." Yu Yan nodded in a daze. I know. She looked at me with scarlet eyes and I clenched my fist. This dog now knows that he regrets it. What did he do earlier? Thinking of how much cowardly I have suffered between her and Sujibai in the past years, and now I just let her suffer a little blow which is cheap for her. Before I opened my mouth, Yu Shangnan said in a low voice, "In this case, I'll bring tea to your little sister-in-law to admit my mistake." When she came out like this, I almost spit out rice. Yu Shengnan did it on purpose, but she actually helped me get angry. I didn't know whether to thank her for a moment. Yu Yan looked at me and didn't move for a long time. Yu Shangnan knocked the cup heavily on the table. "Why, my words don't count." Yu Yan was suddenly scared. He quickly squeezed the teacup and squeezed out a sentence from his throat for a long time. "Little uncle, I'm sorry." I took the cup with a smile, raised my head and drank it all. "You're welcome, eldest niece. Have a good memory in the future. If the boy of the Su family gets sick again, you can introduce him to a doctor, but don't put yourself involved. It's not my uncle who said about you. The Yu family doesn't want to be mentally ill." At this time, the corners of Yu Yan's mother's mouth twitched, and Yu Yan's face was so deep that it was about to drip water. "I'm in a good mood. Isn't Sujibai going to commit suicide at any time? Is there any depression? This is absolutely impossible to enter the gate of the Yu family. As long as the Yu family is not ashamed, I don't care. But Yu Yan's mother can't stand it." She glared at Yu Yan fiercely, who lowered her head in silence and said nothing more. Escape on the wedding day. I chose to be her uncle 39,103. 5. Yu Yan's mother swallowed her anger and smiled reluctantly. My brother-in-law is right. When she gritted her teeth and said the word brother-in-law, I could almost see through her eyes that she hated me. But it doesn't matter. What I want is that she hates me and can't kill me. The old lady said that now the Yu family relies on Yu Shengnan, and I am Yu Shengnan's husband. Even if we don't have 3 chapters of the law, I can blow the pillow wind. I feel good when I think about it. I enjoyed this meal very much. After dinner, I left with Yu Shengnan. As soon as I got on the bus, Yu Yan sent me a message. "Let's talk." "Joke, still talk. What is her identity? Do you still want to talk to me?" I ignored her and turned my head to see Yu Shengnan pulling me into a group. What is this? Family group. What am I doing in your family group? She knocked on my head. It's not you, it's us. Before I could react, I saw a joy in the group. My uncle is here. Warmly welcome me. Hello, little uncle. I'm Yu Qian. My uncle is so handsome. I can't come back from abroad. This is a gift for my sister-in-law. Yu Qian immediately transferred 100,000 yuan to me. Next, let's start the transfer solitaire. I couldn't help but be stunned when I saw this scene. Yu Xianan reminded me. Taken, this is all a welcome gift. I was stunned. The transfer is 200,000 to 300,000 yuan. Is it okay to collect it like this? Of course, it's all a small hand. They didn't come today. When we meet again another day, there will be a meeting gift. Even if the person doesn't come, it should come. This is the rule. In this case, I won't be polite, but for courtesy, I still sent more than 100,000 red envelopes to these juniors to grab. Yu Yan's family was also there, and her mother pinched her nose and transferred 300,000 yuan to me. I laughed numbly, but it suddenly occurred to me that Yu Shangnan and I haven't testified yet. These will be returned later, right? After just having a meal, I received 3 or 4 million. When I was with Yu Yan before, although she also gave me gifts, I never let her suffer a loss in courtesy. Our family's conditions are indeed inferior to that of the Yu family, but when I was with Yu Yan, I never thought about what to get from her. At this time, Yu Yan's message was sent again. Tang Ze, do you have to do this? I just said a few more words to him. People's lives are at risk and you chose my sister-in-law. I didn't expect you to be so casual. I was angry for a moment and replied to her directly. Is this the tone of your way of talking to the elders? Yu Yan, I think you want to kneel in the ancestral hall again. After saying that, I took a screenshot and went directly in front of Yu Xianan. Look at what your eldest niece told me, and today I'm going to my ex-boyfriend's wedding room to clean up. Yu Shangnan glanced at me and nodded. He didn't say anything and directly asked the driver to drive to the wedding room. After arriving, Yu Shangnan raised his eyebrows when he saw the arrangement of the wedding room. So you like this style? What? She looked at the big red curtains and all kinds of handmade things. I smiled and said, well, I like it very much. Everything in this wedding room was arranged by me, which took me a lot of effort. From these home decoration designs to small gadgets like coasters, I have painstakingly found them. I enjoyed the process of arranging the small house, but Yu Yan never participated in it. 6. She always said, it's good if you like it. You're the master. Or it's almost enough. We're just sleeping and eating here. We don't have to think too much. She didn't know how happy I was when I was doing these things. Now I want to take it all back. Yu Shangnan looked at me and said in a low voice, our home can also be arranged. I'm a little surprised. Our home? Is she really here? One more thing I forgot. The marriage certificate hasn't been issued yet. What she said made me a little incredible. I was about to speak when the door opened with a click and the sound of breaking came. It turned out that the vase I had found was broken by the residual smoke. Looking at each other, Yu Yan's eyes were scarlet. You! I pulled Yu Shangnan and said, go to that room. I have something to say to her. Well, call me when you're done. She walked to the study and closed the door, while I stood in the living room and looked at Yu Yan. Yu Yan couldn't help it. Tang Ze, do you have to do this to me? We have been in love for several years and I'm just... I interrupted her. But what? You just left me again to find Suji Bai, right? Yu Yan, ask yourself how many times is this? Every time you leave me, you are sure that I will wait for you. But who stipulates that I must wait for you in the same place? I'm tired of waiting and I don't want to wait. But you can't choose your sister-in-law either. You are in mind. I couldn't help laughing. Why can't I choose? She is richer than you, more beautiful than you, more dedicated than you, better than you, and more than you can see through green tea. I walked to her step by step. You don't know whether Suji Bai is sick or not. You, the eldest lady of the Yu family, are so powerful that you are loved by thousands of people. You are also decisive in the company. Although you are not as good as Yu Shangnan, I think you can't find out the truth with your network resources. You stepped back step by step and compromised again and again. You killed all my expectations of you with your own hands. Yu Yan, I have never regretted falling in love with you, but you can leave me at the wedding. On every important choice in life, you will not make me a must. I don't want such a person and I can't wait. I want to go my own way. I chose Yu Shangnan after careful consideration. I hope you are the same. Since we broke up, let's break up cleanly and completely. Yu Yan broke his defense. I don't agree. Tang Ze, I didn't say I didn't want you. I said I would compensate you. Enough. Who wants you to compensate? Yu Yan, you say compensation every time, which means that you know it's wrong to do so, but you still did it. I don't need such compensation. From now on when you see me, please call me little uncle. If you dare to provoke me again, Yu Shengnan will not let you go. Did you hear me clearly? Yu Yan didn't want to be entangled. I couldn't help raising my hand and slapping her fiercely. You've had enough. Don't be so childish. I said, you go out to find him and we'll break up. I don't want you anymore, Yu Yan. She suddenly staggered 2 steps and looked at me with a hurt face. Seeing her expression, I couldn't help frowning, turning my head and knocking on the door of the study, and Yu Shengnan came out. Have you talked about it? 7. I nodded. It's a deal, but she doesn't seem to want to break up peacefully. Hearing this, Yu Shengnan directly hugged my waist and said, Yu Yan, be polite when I see your little uncle in the future. If there is another time, I don't mind letting you go abroad. Yu Yan was stunned. Yu Yan hugged me and left directly. My things were also taken away by the bodyguard. After going back, Yu Shengnan went to the study to work as usual, and I lay in bed and breathed a sigh of relief. Yu Yan sent me countless messages to apologize and admit his mistake. He even wanted me to separate me from Yu Shengnan. I sneered, took a screenshot directly, put Suji Bai out of the blacklist and sent it directly to him. Your good sister doesn't seem to want to leave me. Please take care of her. After sending it, I blocked him again, and by the way, I also blocked Yu Yan and the 2 people locked them up. I don't know if Suji Bai made trouble, but Yu Yan never came to me again after that. Instead, Yu Shengnan gave me an agreement. I took it over and took a breath of cold air. Shares. Well, since you are married, it should be given to you, which is also what the old man means. I was a little surprised. I didn't expect that I could still receive 5% of the shares of other companies. If I had known, the residual smoke would only be 3%. I accepted it and planned to play this scene with peace of mind. However, Yu Shengnan didn't seem to be acting. She also dragged me to get the certificate. This surprised me a little, but I don't lose. During this period, Yu Yan never came to see me until 3 months later. I found her downstairs. That day, my parents asked me to go back for dinner. As soon as I arrived, I saw Yu Yan's car. I was stunned. When she saw me, she immediately came straight to me. Tang Ze, I know I was wrong. Only then did I know how outrageous I was before. Can you give me another chance? I will definitely change it. I will never deal with Suji Bai again in the future. I have deleted him. No matter how much he begs me, I won't pay attention to him. Let's make up. She is holding my shoulder. I know you and my sister-in-law are just angry. You haven't been in the same room until now. I know you still have me in your heart. I felt a chill in my heart, and I didn't expect that she could even hear this. But I don't want to. Yu Yan, I think I made it clear last time that there is no possibility between you and you. No matter who I choose, even if I just play with your sister-in-law, it's not your turn. Yu Yan suddenly panicked. It's not like that. Our relationship for several years, Tang Ze. Yu Yan, do you remember? When I first confirmed my relationship with you, you officially announced it in the circle of friends. I was very happy that day, but Suji Bai went crazy. You deleted the circle of friends for him, and since then you have never admitted me in front of your family and friends. Yu Yan suddenly looked ugly. Am I so unable to do it? I looked at her. Do you know what this means to me? The injury was destined from the beginning. That I turned on my mobile phone to let her see. I have met Yu Shengnan 3 times. The company's official Weibo is full of my photos, and her circle of friends is also me. I dare not say how much she loves me, but at least she let me know that I am unique to her. She has the courage to admit me, Yu Yan. You can never compare with her in this regard. 8. Yu Yan's face suddenly turned pale and I took a deep breath. You go away. I will never be with you. See me on New Year's holidays in the future, and remember your identity. Hearing the words, Yu Yan still wanted to come forward, but was stopped by me. No matter how you save it, I can't turn back. I have made a choice. I don't know how long the 1-year period is, but at this moment I think it's not bad to be with Yu Shengnan. Yu Yan's face turned pale and she left in despair. I looked at her back and breathed a sigh of relief. When he came back, he found that Yu Shengnan had also arrived. I was a little stunned. Didn't you say you couldn't come? The meeting has been cancelled. Come and have a look. When my mother saw her coming over, she was so happy that she patted me on the shoulder. You child, this is her mother-in-law's house. You can come anytime. My mother quickly added dishes and chopsticks to her. Yu Shengnan looked at me and said, Don't worry, Yu Yan won't come to you again in the future. I was stunned. I have asked her to go to a foreign branch to experience. Since she has nothing to do all day, let's go out to exercise. I couldn't help but be dumbfounded. No wonder she came to see me today. What, are you heartbroken? How is it possible? Don't think nonsense. I've made it clear and won't look back. Yu Shengnan smiled lightly. I think it's actually strange for me to get along with Yu Shengnan. She helped me to avoid making a fool of myself at the wedding. I made a hard break with her and asked her to give me an explanation, but now I can't help but feel a little incredible. What's the relationship between me and her? She got a certificate with me and gave me shares, but we didn't do anything more. Also, as long as I want to do, she will support me to do it. I'm a little worried about this meal. What's Yu Xiangnan's picture? My small company is not enough for her to calculate. Forget it, I don't want to. After dinner, Yu Xiangnan went to my room to rest. As soon as she went in, she leaned against the head of the bed, and her lazy appearance made me laugh. I didn't expect you to be so untidy in private. Why don't you like it? What on earth can't you put down? Her words stunned me for a moment. I took a deep breath and looked at her. I didn't. Yu Xiangnan pulled me off guard and fell into her arms. You, Tang Ze, since the last relationship has ended, then boldly accept the next relationship, stay with me and be the head of the Yu family. When Yu Yan comes back, it's up to you to go where you want to go. Does the Yu family have to look at your face? Her words shocked me. I was about to get up when she pressed me into her arms and listened to her heartbeat. I suddenly blushed. This woman, come on. From the first time I saw you, I've been thinking that this young man is very smart. Why doesn't he have a brain? I didn't agree. Who doesn't have a brain? If you are brainy and can be bullied like that by the boy of the Su family, I was thinking at that time that if you were my people, I would definitely not let you be so cowardly. I didn't expect that Yu Yan ran away on the wedding day, and you came to see me again. I couldn't help but jump at her heart. She held my hand and said, so you and I are a legal husband and wife now. You might as well have a try and continue to walk. How about it? Give me a chance and give yourself a chance. Yu Xiangnan's words made me blush slightly. I looked at her and said, is this a confession? 9. It's a confession. Do you accept it? I smiled and said, accept it. Try it first. We looked at each other and smiled. Yu Xiangnan bowed his head and kissed me. At this time my mother suddenly opened the door. Tang Ze. I quickly bounced away and my mother suddenly smiled awkwardly. Well, I suddenly have something to do. I'm going out for you two to play. My mother quickly closed the door, and I gave Yu Xiangnan a blank look. It's all your fault. My mother has seen it. Aren't you embarrassed? It doesn't matter. Mom will understand. I've been single for so many years. I was stunned for a moment. I didn't expect that she was so old that she could still say this. I patted her and pulled her home directly. Facts have proved that older women are awesome, and I am still weak the next day. And she really did it, making me the most stubborn person in the Yu family. Even Yu Yan's mother didn't dare to speak loudly when she looked at me. It was not until a year later that Yu Xiangnan got pregnant and the family got together during the Mid-Autumn Festival that Yu Yan still didn't come back. After dinner, her mother looked at me and couldn't help saying to me, I'm so sorry. I was stunned and heard her say, when you were with Yu Yan, I tried my best to stop you. Later, you became my brother-in-law's husband. Yu Yan regretted it. She also begged me, but I think you are with Xiangnan. I'm afraid it's impossible in this life. I nodded and said, it's really impossible. It's better for Yu Yan to look forward. I know what she means, but I'm just worried that Yu Yan is under too much pressure abroad and wants to transfer her back. It's not that I went to outer space. I can come back by plane. She doesn't want to and I can't help it. Oh, it is absolutely impossible for the boy of the Su family to enter my house. Tang Ze, can you persuade her to come back and have a look? I frowned. Yu Yan is an adult. It's time to fight for a career. Xiangnan is also married in his 30s. Don't worry. She suddenly choked and I sneered in my heart. When Yu Xiangnan and I confirmed our relationship, she had already helped me vent my anger. In addition to transferring Yu Yan abroad, he also snatched all the projects of the Su family. Su Jibai didn't ask for it. He even called Yu Yan and stood on the roof to threaten suicide. Yu Yan ignored him and blocked him. These are all things that Yu Yan told me. I blocked her and she insisted on sending me an email. She said that the Yu family would not cooperate with the Su family in the future. She also said that she had completely broken off relations with the Su family, and got all the diagnostic certificates of the hospital, exposed Su Jibai's fake depression, and even exposed it on the internet. This time, the Su family was completely defeated. This time, Su Jibai really committed suicide, but this time no one rushed to him again. Yu Yan was abroad, and even his phone number was blocked. Fortunately, the servant at home found out and sent him to the hospital, and he did not appear in front of me again. I heard that he was crazy. The Su family fell thousands of feet, and the Yu family kept suppressing him. He couldn't stand the fall, and finally he was sent to a mental hospital by his family. When I heard the news, I just smiled and didn't respond. At this time I looked at Yu Yan's mother and she sighed. Yu Yan is very stubborn. At that time she was indeed wrong, but I interrupted her and said, she should solve the matter of Yu Yan by herself. After all, I'm just an uncle, not a biological mother. You can't persuade her, and I can't do it. People. There is always a price to pay for doing wrong things. Well, sister-in-law, I'll go first. I'm a little tired. She looked embarrassed at me and I ignored her. I haven't forgotten at that time I quarreled with Yu Yan for Suji Bai. After she knew it, she blamed me. Our Yu Yan's work is already very hard. Don't bother her for such a small thing. Women should be more generous. What is the only love in Tian Tian's eyes? If you want to be Yu Yan's boyfriend, you should get used to this kind of life. If she inherits the Yu family in the future, there may be many men. But Yu Shengnan doesn't have it. She knows how to be measured. I really felt wronged at that time, but now that I think about it, it's not that she didn't know, she just pretended not to pay attention. If she were from a higher family than them, she would definitely not be so lazy. It's different now. Yu Shengnan gives me confidence, and my own studio is getting on the right track day by day. Yu Yan is just a choice for me. I omitted her. With other options, she is not the best, so naturally she won't let me care about her. Yu Shengnan lay in bed and listened to prenatal music. I held Yu Shengnan's hand and chatted with the baby against his stomach. At this moment, happiness is really embodied. Half a year later, my daughter was born. I was outside with red eyes. The first sentence I saw Yu Shengnan was, "Wife, we won't give birth." She hugged me with the child in her arms, crying and laughing. When Yu Shengnan was in the maternity month, I pushed all the work and learned how to hold the baby, breastfeed and burp from the maternity matron. It's just that the little baby was very obedient in her hand. When he heard her voice, he didn't cry. He kept making a fuss in my hand. At that moment I was jealous. But seeing Yu Shengnan smile, I think everything is worth it. When the baby was full term, Yu Yan came back from abroad and brought back a golden collar for her daughter. She just gave the gift and left in a hurry. Her steps were a little messy. I knew that she couldn't let go. Yu Yan, I won't wait for you in the same place. Now I have a family, a lover and a baby. They are my everything and I am also their everything. Full text finished.